Oh, this is fun.
Yes.
This is fun.
All right. So
So,
let's take a look here. Kind of a caught off guard with no intro. I'm like, oh wait, that's normally where I collect my thoughts.
well, we got a little bit of downtime. Let's talk about the campaign, man.
The campaign.
What was your favorite level out of all of the campaign?
Thing is, I found them all.
Heart of the Swarm and Wings of Liberty. Like, what was the most fun?
Oh, okay. Wings of Liberty campaign I really liked.
But which level
really
is what
fun.
I'm getting at?
I thought the last level.
Oh, that's mine too.
Because it was actually pretty difficult until you figure out what to do.
I felt like
until you figure out that actually just making Marines is the right choice.
Did you?
Just like in StarCraft II multiplayer.
Yeah. So the Protoss gets the Colossus, the Zerg gets the Infestor, and the Terran gets the Marine.
Yeah.
Each one has their incredibly powerful unit. Now, I found the Heart of the Swarm single player to be much easier.
It was much easier. That's why you found it that way.
Yeah,
There's only one
surprised.
hard level, and it was the boss fight against the old guy on Xeris, the guy that like slaps the ground. You have to run
that was awesome. That was like arcade
that was hard.
Oh, you're talking about the guy when his fingers come up.
Yeah,
it's like it looks like he's playing a flute when his fingers are hitting.
And they like hit the thing and hurt you and all that. But yeah,
I love that level.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. But let's take a look at this. What's going on here? We have Rain actually going for a very fast expansion here, just like last game. Scouting with that gateway and not going for the core, and instead checking out what's going on so that he can make the quicker nexus. This is a very good counter if you want to go for a gateway expand, and the Zerg goes for hatchery first play.
Now, obviously, Rain didn't cannon rush this time. We thought it might have been a good idea, seeing as that Solar, even if he sees the pylon being made, assumes it's a bluff.
That is... The thing is, you have to look at it, and sometimes it can be a hard call to make when you have this one best of 3 to beat a Zerg player. Daedalus Point is a map, and you have to decide, do I want to risk everything on a cannon rush?
Yeah.
And
it seems like nowadays a lot of Protosses are forced to really decide, do I want to take a risk early on, or do I want to be really, really conservative, Yeah, and then it seems like Zergs are the ones that nowadays don't have to take that risk as much early on. They can, but it's almost like to throw it in simply so that the Protosses are not allowed to get too greedy.
Well, Zergs can be pretty darn greedy nowadays. The Gateway Expand has just come out as strictly better than Forge Expands at this point, I would say. Well, there still are Forge Expands and reasons to do them now and then. It's become more and more Gateway first heavy, so...
Protoss, especially in this matchup, has gone through the most transitions.
Yeah.
Even all the way back to StarCraft 1, the builds actually kept having to change, and changed fairly radically, actually. And it seems like that's just the way this works when you have a Protoss against a Zerg. If you go all the way back to Brood War, it started out with the Protoss going 2 gates, rushing, applying pressure, trying to kill them there, and then eventually fast gas became popular. And then people started going Forge first, which everybody thought was actually a cheese build. Yeah. And it could not actually work. And people would, if you actually tried that in practice games against people, they would refuse to play with you because they would oftentimes say that's like not a real build. Yeah. Then eventually the Forge builds got huge, and then it was how do we take the Forge builds out? And we kind of left with Brood War, became less popular because of StarCraft II. It kind of ended up with Ser DT. And then we got into StarCraft II, and it started right with the fast expands with Forge. Talk to me, Artosis, before I finish this history lesson. Go ahead.
Well, these Lings just ran in,
they see
saw
everything.
Chrono Boost on the Warp Gate and a Twilight Council.
So their cover's been blown.
Well, the thing is, Rain needs to come up with a new strategy now. His strategy has been foiled. He's still making a proxy pylon. I have a feeling he's going to lose his match, but please.
Oh, yeah. So so then we had the Forge build started out right away in StarCraft II. Those were huge. There was a period briefly when StarCraft II came out where they were doing the 3, what was it, like a Sentry expand? Yeah, the Sentry expand was the best expand for a long time. Like, it took a while in StarCraft II for the cannon expands to catch on. Yeah, because... And now we're here with these gateway expands, and then there's all these different little branches of how you can play from there. But it's actually incredible. Out of all the matchups in StarCraft, at the very, very, very beginning of StarCraft, the Protoss have had to have the most build changes.
Well, here we go. It looks like it's time. This is a 5-gate blink rush. It's like really, 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 really fast. And this is the smart move by Solar. Don't even try to save that hatchery right now. In fact, he's even adding 2 more gates. Rain is like so completely all in here, but speed is on the way, roaches are being made, and there's some creep spread out here, so he has creep to be moving around on.
Okay, he's continuing to put these pylons down here. Now, if this does not work for Rain, it's going to be very, very difficult for him to recover from this. He does get the hatchery, but you have to go even further than this with Rain to close this out.
Well, so far his micro is pretty darn good. A nice time warp does go down. And, of course, Blink is now finished, so they're going to have to back up out of there.
Now continuing to push
forward.
forward.
You might actually be able to close this out before Solar has enough.
Well, the shape between the hatchery and that ramp doesn't allow for the Zerg to really run away as easily. And there's actually a pretty wide berth over here. We have some Blink, so I assume that was from the extra larva at the hatch there that he made.
Oh, yeah.
This looks like where those come from. So he's continuing to warp in more and more units. Looks like he wants to have some Zealots over here in the front just to tank some of that extra damage. And I think if he does that right, actually, I think Rain will win this. Yeah, as long as he blinks correctly and the Zealots soak up damage, yeah, he should actually bring us to game number 3.
It is looking like it. The Roaches, though, do continue to come forward. These drones doing a pretty good job buffering some damage. He's starting to really hurt these Stalkers, but the blink micro of Rain is very good.
Yeah, now this, he just has to make sure, a lot of Bruised Stalkers, he has to just keep them all alive, continue to micro perfectly, and he should be in good shape.
Wow, this is actually a really nice move here from Rain to be able to kill Solar off. I got really nervous for him when it got scouted right before the Twilight finished, but Solar was a little bit too greedy. You know, his speed upgrade for Zerglings was a little bit late. He didn't have any units out on the map to try to kill off pylons and slow this down, and Rain just, bam, he was there. As soon as, like, he didn't wait for Blink, he just went, because it was such a late Zergling speed that you can just make a bunch of Stalkers and start attacking.
You know, with a rush like that, it's funny because if you don't blink perfectly, you die very, very fast. But if you can just get the Stalkers to lose the shields and blink them individually back, those Stalkers in the back can end up regenning those shields, and all of a sudden there's just too much, and the Zerg loses. So nicely done there by Rain. It's funny too because, like you were saying, I mean, it was spotted, right? It was spotted
right before the Twilight finished, which is like, I guess that's just about as quickly as you can spot a build like that. But the fact that, like, Rain had such a good read with the speed of the 3 hatches, the fact that the gas was a little bit slow for Solar, it ended up working out for him because he already had the forward pylon and he just started pressure immediately, and without enough larva, without the 3rd base extra minerals rolling in, which would normally come against any other Blink build aside from that one, he should have been able to hold it, but that was like the super fast, ridiculous all-in-one, and it was really well done.
I actually would be surprised if Rain did something similar to that again. Is in that he's going to do an all-in.
He's going to do an all-in here.
Because I don't think Rain wants to go into the late game here against Solar.
You are completely right about that, Tasteless. Daedalus Point is Protoss hell. Like, if you can take your natural, good luck taking your 3rd. It's a silly, silly map.
Is Daedalus a word, by the way? Or is that just supposed to be like a made-up place?
I don't know. I think it's a made-up place.
Made-up place. All right, well, we're here on the point of Daedalus in game number 3. Here with Rain against Solar on our first day back here at GOMTV here for the GSL Code S.